and guide her through the night with a light.
I'm proud and honored to introduce to you Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Coming out to see me today. I'm very excited to be here with all of you. I think it's important for us to gather and talk about our government. What do you think? Well, I'd also like to talk about some people that weren't invited, but they showed up anyways. CNN. Yeah, they came out here today. They're doing a documentary, so they want to come out and film all of you and then say what they think about you and put it on their network. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I don't know where the reporter is. I think he already left, Donnie O'Sullivan. We were just looking at his tweets. He's probably not a fan of mine. He was talking about when Twitter permanently banned me back in 2022. You know, I was one of those people that put out tweets saying that I shouldn't be forced to wear a mask and you people shouldn't be forced to wear a mask. And I was also saying things like I didn't think the FDA should approve the COVID vaccines. You know, I used my freedom of speech to say that on my personal Twitter account, and you know, the powers that be decided that my speech was wrong and permanently banned me. Well, the CNN reporter that was here celebrated that on his Twitter, so how about that? These are the things you can't make up. You know, you can't make it up. Just like you can't make up the fact that there's only two genders, right? Like, I mean, it's real. There's only two sexes, male and female. There's only two genders, male and female. I know that everybody wants to say there's a million genders and you can have as many pronouns as you want. I've got two pronouns. Here's mine today. Trump won. To the folks at CNN and you know, and the left and everyone, they can't stand that. As a matter of fact, let's go back in time a little bit. Remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president? You know, she said she won her election, right? She claimed it was stolen, and a lot of people agreed with her, including CNN. But wait, did she get canceled? Did they get canceled? No. Oh wait, they're still on the air, and so are the rest of them that said her election was stolen, right? Well, you know, when she was running for president, she declared all of you, Trump supporters and people like me, deplorables. Right, we're all second-class citizens. And that's what the left thinks about us. That's what Democrats think about us. That's why the probably Harvard graduates at CNN think they're so much better than us, right? And they look down on us. So they have to come out and they have to film all of us and film what we say. And so they can go on their network and say bad things about half of America. You know, people that come to church and have a faith and declare that Jesus Christ is your Savior. Jesus Christ is my Savior. And I say that unapologetically. They love to look down and say bad things about people that support America First policies. People like me and you that believe that our hard-earned tax dollars should help us, Americans, right? Or do things like actually secure our southern border. Or, hey, I got a good idea. This is really a crazy one. How about a balanced budget and paying down the debt? I mean, you guys are radical MAGA extremists. Oh my goodness. CNN looks down on you and makes fun of you all the time. It's a joke. Isn't it a joke? Yeah. And we're sick of it. Well, they showed up today because here I'm having a book signing event, and I'm really thankful for you all coming out and being excited to read my book. CNN hasn't asked me for an interview about my book. They didn't do that. I don't know why. They don't want to promote my America First ideas and policies and my stories. Instead, this is what happened. They decided to smear me all over national media, not just CNN, New York Times, The Hill, MSNBC. I'm sure the nasty ladies on The View are going to have to talk about me this week. Jimmy Kimmel undoubtedly will have something horrible to say. You know, all these people, because they were saying, oh, on the anniversary of January 6th, she's having a book signing event. And so the local Democrats here in Florida organized a entire campaign, a calling campaign against the venue in Orlando that was going to host my book signing event. And let's talk about this. Now remember the left, it's okay for them to have BLM riots. It's okay for them to burn cities and communities, loot, they can attack police officers night after night, attack federal courthouses, tear down historical monuments. They can harass people at restaurants, demand they say Black Lives Matters. They can do this night after night, causing $2 billion in damage, murdering people in the city streets, completely destroying communities all over America. Right? That's totally okay for them to do. And then CNN says, oh, it's a mostly peaceful protest. I mean, there's flames and fire and violence happening in the background. Right? Because, I mean, you know, you're just supposed to believe what they have to say on television. They're smarter than you all. They're better than you all. Right? I mean, you're the MAGA extremists. You're the deplorables. The second-class citizens that's supposed to not have freedom of speech. Your speech doesn't count, according to the left, according to the media, according to the Democrats. You shouldn't care about elections. Shame on you. You should just accept the results. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. So they created a whole national campaign in the news. Let's make sure that we cancel Marjorie Taylor Greene's book signing events. But wait a minute, hold on. Aren't they defending democracy? Right? Isn't that what Joe Biden and the Democrats are trying to do? Defend democracy? Oh, okay. So they have to go do a whole hundreds, I'm talking about hundreds of phone calls harassing these venues. This church right here and the organizers of this event today were harassed and threatened. Now, do you think CNN and the New York Times and MSNBC and the national news media has reported any of that? No, they have not reported it. As a matter of fact, the only thing they've reported is venue cancels Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's January 6th event. That's how they reported it. They lie and they lie and they lie, and they never want to report the truth. It's only the narrative they want to spin. So that's why, oh, I don't see the cameras back there anymore. Did they leave? Yeah.
Put a uniform on.
Oh, wait, you're still here. Oh, good. Are you guys going to record my speech, or are you just going to, just do the video, but not my words, and then talk bad about me? That's probably what you're going to do.
He's hiding behind the camera.
So instead of forcing them to leave, I invited them to stay in. I did, because maybe they'll actually report the truth. No. I doubt it. I doubt it. So, let me talk to you guys about why I ran for Congress. I ran a construction company for over 20 years, raised my 3 kids, did a good job being a good American, you know, believe in freedom, thankful for the rights that I have, especially as a woman. That matters to me. I was able to work in a male-dominated industry, raise my 3 children in my faith, raise my 3 children in the country that I love. And I wasn't really a political person. As a matter of fact, I didn't pay that much attention. I voted, of course. But then, for me, when in the 2015 primary, when there were 17 Republican primary candidates, the only one that stood on that stage that actually sounded like a normal person was Donald J. Trump. And so I supported him. We all elected him. We sent him to Washington to be our president. And I believed in a lot of the things he was talking about. You know, like building a border wall and border security. Of course we want legal immigration. We believe in that as Americans. But I didn't want to have people illegally entering our country. And illegal alien crime is a real issue. And so we believe in border security and believed in a border wall. Also, as a business owner, my family was really hurt when they passed Obamacare. My family's insurance policy payment went from around $800 a month to over $2,400 a month. That was more than our house payment. And then there were other issues that mattered to me. The fact that I don't think federal tax dollars, those the money that we all pay, the federal government, should be used to murder babies, to pay for abortion. I don't think no tax dollars should go for that. Among many other things. And so when we got President Trump in the White House, I was really excited because you know what else we had? A Republican-controlled House of Representatives and a Republican-controlled Senate. And I said, wow, for the first time in a very long time, we have a real opportunity to fix the problems in this country, and I was excited. And then I watched for the first 2 years under President Trump, under Paul Ryan as Speaker, I watched them fail over and over again. They didn't repeal the Affordable Care Act. They didn't repeal Obamacare. They talked about replacing it. They didn't even repeal it. Then they did not fund the border wall. The Republican-controlled House of Representatives and the Senate didn't fund the border wall. And not only did they not do anything about abortion, they funded Planned Parenthood for $500 million with our money. That was Republicans. And that's just a few things. They did many other things. And I thought to myself, what is happening? How is it that we have a Republican-controlled House of Representatives? They're clearly not representing the voters that sent them there. And so I started paying more attention and I decided to run for Congress. So in 2020, I ran for Congress. And thankfully I won. I ran in a... So as a new member of Congress in 2021, after the election in November 2020, I thought I was prepared to do my job, but I was very disappointed that the president that I supported, that I voted for, and I felt like America elected, was not going to be in the White House. And so on January 6th, I objected, which is legal, and I have the constitutional right to do as a member of Congress. As a matter of fact, Democrats had objected to the past 3 Republican presidents. This was not an extreme idea. It had been done before by the Democrats. Okay? So leading into January 6th, which was the day that Congress had convened to vote the Electoral College votes and to certify the election, I was one of many members of Congress that objected. As a matter of fact, I'd worked hard. Now, what I didn't expect is the events of that day. I didn't expect them at all. As a matter of fact, I was objecting and doing my job, and we, of course, were shocked that Nancy Pelosi, as Speaker of the House, here's something that I don't know if you know. Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House on January 6, 2021. The Speaker of the House is the person responsible for security over the Capitol. That was Nancy Pelosi's job. And I had found out later on, but she had been briefed in late December that there were security threats to the Capitol on January 6th. So had the President of the United States, President Trump, and that's why he went ahead and signed ahead of time the approval for the National Guard. But let me make a very clear point. He could not request it. the Speaker of the House had to request it. But she didn't. Nancy Pelosi didn't want the National Guard there. She wanted the Capitol left wide open. That's what she wanted. And we now know, and we aren't sure of the numbers, we know it's hundreds of some sort of agents were there. We don't know what part of federal government or law enforcement or their relations therein, but we do know they were in the crowd. We know with body camera footage from different law enforcement officers and different people there that they were involved and they were dressed as Trump supporters. And these are all the things we had to find out. But I was in the House chamber, and I write about this in my book. As a matter of fact, it's the second chapter of my book. You guys can probably put that up on CNN if you like. It's in print. You don't have to make it up. But I write about this in my book because that was my third day on the job, you guys. Third day in Congress. And I had never been elected, never served in any kind of government before that. As a matter of fact, my first GOP meeting was when I announced I was running for Congress. That's how brand new and what an outsider I was. And so here we have these events happening, and I'm in the House chamber along with many of my other colleagues, and I'm arguing with everybody. These are not our people. These people that are being violent out there were not our people. The ones, they were not doing that. Wait, what? That wasn't the narrative you wanted? Okay, you'll go make it up on your own. So long. So sick of these people. So sick of them. Yeah, I'm sure y'all are. That's why their network ratings keep going down.
We love you, Marjorie.
Thank you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I had some other words I was trying to hold back. We're in church. You were in the house. So I'm in the House chamber and I'm going, what is happening? So I'm arguing with everybody. I'm like, those aren't our people. I've been to so many Trump rallies, it's not even funny. It's Antifa, it's BLM. Those are not our people. And I was arguing with them. And they're trying to convince me otherwise. You could not convince me. You could not convince me. And I was right. Many of the people that did what they did that day were provocateurs. They were federal agents. And in January 6th, if we have a name for it, it is called entrapment. That's what January 6th was, entrapment. And that was organized by the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who did not have the National Guard there, and many other people. We now know exactly what it was. But I will have to tell you guys, and I don't want to tell all the details in my book, it was pretty shocking to watch the Democrats, many of them, try to escape the House chamber when we were being taken out through security. I mean, can you imagine Jerry Nadler trying to run? Especially with that clear plastic bag thing on his head. You know? Did y'all see those pictures? They were trying to tell us to put on these, they said there was some kind of gas or something, we had to put on these plastic bags. They said, okay, everybody, reach up under your chair. You reach up under your chair, you pull out this box, and when you open it up, it has this big fan, and the fan's running, it's loud, it's like shh, and then it has this big plastic hood you're supposed to put on your head. And I'm like, pretty sure my mom always said, don't put a plastic bag on your head. I was like, I'm not putting that on my head. And then you see all the Democrats, they're like, oh, they got the plastic bags on their heads, trying to run.
They're still wearing masks.
Yeah, they love masks. They were like, masks, plastic bags. You know what's wrong with them? It's a lack of oxygen. It kills brain cells. And they didn't have that many to begin with. I have so many stories. AOC was like, oh, we're being attacked. My life is stranger. She wasn't even in the Capitol. She was over in I think it was Cannon Office Building, hiding in the bathroom, and the Capitol Police were checking on her. They're like, checking on her. Ma'am, are you okay? No white men can come in here. Everybody's trying to kill me. It's too much. I served with her on the Oversight Committee. Thank you. I appreciate the apologies. It is traumatizing, let me tell you. And Rashida Tlaib. She's something, let me tell you. She's something. So in my book, I talk about these things. Oversight Committee is great. I really have to say it's one of my favorite committees. You guys know he's from Kentucky, Jamie Comer? Yeah, he's our chairman. He's doing a great job. And we are investigating the Bidens. What are you tired of these? The Bidens are innocent. No. It is unbelievable. So we start this investigation with thousands of pages in the Treasury Department. Thousands! And these are bank reports. And by law, if you own a bank, you have to produce a report and send it to the Treasury Department if you have a customer, or say if there's any financial transaction that comes through your bank that is suspicious, and they have a whole set of rules that tells banks what would be suspicious activity. And so these are suspicious activity reports. Well, I can assure you, probably most people in this room, if not all people in this room, have never had a suspicious activity report sent to the Treasury in your name, because you're not doing things like human trafficking, and you're not taking money from China or say Romania, or a country called Ukraine that's the 51st state of the United States of America. Just kidding. Yeah. But this is real. So there's all these thousands of pages of suspicious activity reports. We go in there and read them. You wouldn't believe the things they say. You would not believe it. One of the reports that was pages and pages and pages was all these payments from Hunter Biden to women. And these were women that he labeled as like a performer or entertainment or education. What kind of education? And oddly, they were Ukrainian and Russian. It was unbelievable. And then there was all these suspicious activity reports, millions and millions of dollars from China. And then it wouldn't say if it was a company, it wouldn't tell you anything about the bank account, which is very wrong. And you see, here's what we know about China as a communist country. If it is a company in China, it is owned by the CCP. And if there are big payments coming from a bank account linked to a company in China, going to any sort of person in a political family with millions of dollars, you can bet that's a bribe and highly illegal. But we read thousands and thousands of pages, so then the next step we took is let's follow the money. Well, the great thing in these suspicious activity reports is it has bank account numbers and bank names and addresses and phone numbers and passport numbers. It has all the information. These banks do their job. They're not the federal government, they're banks. So we subpoenaed the bank statements linked to all the accounts, and the Bidens had dozens of LLCs. Now, come on. You all know if you have an LLC, if you have a business, you're going to have one LLC, and you're going to have one bank account. Because if you're a real business owner, and I've been in business for years, I don't want the headaches of multiple bank accounts. I don't want the headaches of multiple LLCs. Because when you're doing things right, you have to go through all the work of reporting everything. You have to do it correctly. But if you're trying to launder money, you need dozens of LLCs so you can transfer the money around. Well, guess what? We found out that's what was happening. And the Biden family, they don't provide a service or a product, right? You can't go buy Biden, what, vacuum cleaner? No. You can't go hire the Bidens to do anything. You definitely wouldn't hire the Bidens to do anything. We didn't even hire him to be president of the United States. So we have done this investigation, and I've got a whole chapter in the book about it, giving you all the details, because I think it's important that you deserve the details. And here's something great coming that you'll be able to see, probably not on CNN, but if you watch news, you will watch us next week on the Oversight Committee. We're going to be holding Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. Because we subpoenaed Hunter Biden, and if you guys saw it about a month or so ago, he and Eric Swalwell had a little press conference instead of Hunter coming in and talking to us. Now, think what a hypocrisy that is. Don Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka, all the entire family has sat before Congress under Democrat subpoenas for hours and hours and hours and answered their ridiculous questions. But Hunter Biden can't show up, and he evaded his subpoena when we wanted to talk to him about all his LLCs and the money that he's been receiving, and also ask him about the checks to his daddy. No, really, we have checks to Joe Biden. It says Joe Biden. A lot of money. Yeah, that is the big guy. So we just wanted to talk to him, and he didn't want to come in and talk to us. So we will be holding him in contempt of Congress. Remember when the Democrats held Steve Bannon in contempt of Congress? Do you guys remember that? Yep. Well, the Department of Justice is prosecuting him for that. Do you think the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland is going to prosecute Hunter Biden when we hold him in contempt of Congress? No. It's a two-tiered justice system, isn't it? And it's sick and disgusting. Now, let's talk about some of the folks at the Department of Justice. I'm not a fan of these people. Coming from running a company, you know, it's unfortunate at times as an employer that you have to fire people. Unfortunately, you have to do that. Now, usually when you fire someone, you have very strong reasons to fire them. Reasons to fire someone may be that they're not doing their job, maybe they're stealing money, maybe they're corrupt, maybe they're doing something to hurt your business. And that definitely could be done if they're doing something to hurt your customer. Now, I've had to fire people before, and it's never a pleasant experience, but I look at impeachment as our ability and our means given to us by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution to fire people.
You're fired.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people I think should be fired. And there's people at the Department of Justice that need to be fired. I introduced articles of impeachment against Merrick Garland. Christopher Wray at the FBI. I've done Joe Biden like 4 times. I've been trying, you guys. I'm trying.
Mayorkas.
Secretary Mayorkas, yes. I'll give you all an update on that in a few minutes. But there's a name that you may not know unless you're a January 6th defendant. If you're a January 6th defendant, you know this guy's name really well. His name is Matthew Graves. Yes. He is the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. at the Department of Justice that has a very unique job. He has the ability to prosecute crimes, federal crimes on a national level, but he also has the ability to prosecute crimes in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia. And that is a very unique job. It's an important job. It's an extremely important job. Now, Matthew Graves, formerly, before Joe Biden was president, happened to be working for Joe Biden on his 2020 presidential campaign as an advisor. How about that? But now he happens to be the U.S. Attorney that prosecutes January 6th defendants. Isn't that interesting? I mean, surely he's not political. So I introduced articles of impeachment against Matthew Graves, and it was quite an enjoyable experience because I did it to his face. And he was sitting before our committee on the Oversight Committee, and we were questioning him about all the crime in our nation's capital. And I don't know if you follow the crime rates in Washington, D.C., because most people outside of D.C. could care less. They're so disgusted with Washington. But the crime rates in Washington, D.C. are the most embarrassing things on a national level and a world level. The murder rates are some of the highest in our country. People are carjacked on a daily basis. It's outrageous. Rape, drugs, all kinds of problems. This is our nation's capital. This is where people come from all over the world to our country. Matthew Graves does not prosecute. He does not prosecute over 63% of the arrests in Washington, D.C. But Matthew Graves does prosecute anyone and everyone that he identifies that either walked into the Capitol on January 6th or maybe even just walked up close enough where he can call it trespassing. That's what Matthew Graves does with his office and his resources. Now remember, he was a Biden 2020 campaign advisor. That's who Matthew Graves is. And when he was before us on the Oversight Committee, I got to question him about, why aren't you prosecuting crime? Why are you going after MAGA grandmas and veterans who have a right to speak out about our elections? And he of course had nothing to say about that. So I read my articles of impeachment to him while he was sitting in front of me at the Oversight Committee. I thought that was right and appropriate. But this is the Biden administration. But remember, you all are the deplorables, you're the second-class citizens, you're the MAGA extremists, and your voice and your speech doesn't matter, according to the Biden administration. Because Joe Biden has got to defend democracy, right? So much so that he's got to make sure that his party kicks off his top political opponent off of ballots across America, like in Colorado and Maine, and they're trying to do it in many other states. He needs to make sure that he uses his Department of Justice as a literal weapon against his top political opponent, the former President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and they've got to do everything they can do to lock him up. And because Joe Biden is trying to defend democracy, he has his goons, either at the Department of Justice or these state prosecutors that George Soros got elected. They've got to make sure they can destroy his family's business, take away all of their wealth, ruin their reputation, smear their good names, and then also try to put them in jail while they're at it. Because they are defending democracy. Does everybody understand that? You can't even make this up. Like, you cannot even make this up. The jokes make themselves. They do. The jokes make themselves. So I write an article. I should start writing articles. I write a chapter in my book about the media. Now, the media blew my mind when I became a member of Congress. Remember, I was a regular person just like you guys. Never had done anything before. The media, as soon as I entered Congress, decided to attack me at a level they have never attacked any other member of Congress. They did the same thing to me that they did to Donald Trump. And it was unbelievable. I'm not kidding you, unbelievable. My name was in the news every single day. And it was headline after headline after headline. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the QAnon, Trump-supporting, MAGA extremist, January 6th insurrectionist. What else did they say? Oh, they labeled me all the ist, misogynist, racist, phobics, homophobic, phobic, whatever the phobics are. All of them. They had all the names. And it was pretty shocking. It usually took like a whole paragraph of the first part of the article to list out all the names. And they'd have to do it every single time, Marjorie Taylor Greene, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, next paragraph. What do I do now?
That's why we love you.
something else. And so the media has been always interesting to me. But here's what they do in Washington. So I'm going to skip all of that because I really don't care what they say about me. I could care less.
Right on.
And the good news I have to report is all the horrible things they slandered me with and said about me, I didn't lose one personal friend in my life. It didn't change one family member's opinion of me. My district has reelected me with huge numbers twice. And their lies just don't stick because everyone that knows me knows all of it is nothing but lies, and we know what the media does. But the Washington media is really interesting. So as a member of Congress, you know, every single day when we're walking up to go vote in the House chamber, or we're walking to our committees, the media is everywhere. So they always come up and they ask you questions. Now, they don't always go in a big group. You know, oftentimes they're wandering around by themselves because they're working on stories. And this is what's interesting to me. They always come up and they will all have the same question. The same question. And it's a different question pretty much every day or every other day. And it's this is what they want. It's the headlines. So have you ever noticed how all of the news, all of the media companies, they'll all have the same story, and it's the same wording, and it's the same topic, and it's like rinse and repeat, and rinse and repeat, and it's a narrative. Because they want to saturate all of American minds and thoughts and decision making. They want to saturate your mind with that narrative. Well, it starts in Washington. And it starts when they're running all around and they're coming up to people like me, other members of Congress and senators, and they come and they stick the microphone and the camera in our face and they ask us some ridiculous question like, what do you have to say about January 6th, the 3rd anniversary of the insurrection of the United States of America? That's what they do. They come up with something crazy. Or they'll come up and they want to ask you about someone else because they want to get everyone's statement on the record about someone else. Or they're saying, President Trump said that he wants to secure the border. How do you think that affects migrants? You know, they always have some question. And so I started getting tired of their same questions. And I started asking them, do you get these questions in like some 4 a.m. email that probably comes from the Washington Press Club? CIA. Washington Press Club. And then one will come up and ask me, and I'll go, you're too late. New York Times already hit me with that one. Oh, you need it for your story too? Okay. It's ridiculous. It is a joke. I'm not kidding you. It's a joke. But that's what they do. And I get to watch it happen every single day. And it's beyond annoying. It's nauseating. Yeah. And here's what I started telling them. So I'll tell them exactly what I think all the time, just like I did with the crew that came today. I let them know. I go, you know what your problem is? You think you're telling America what to think? They hate you. I do. I say they hate you. They are so sick and tired of you. They are so sick and tired of your opinion. They're so sick and tired of you putting them down and telling them what to think. And here's the real truth. Americans are smarter than you are. It's true. All of these people running around, they're usually 20-year-olds that have never owned a home. They've never been married. They don't have any children. They don't know what it's like maybe to work 2 or 3 jobs. They have no idea what it's like to do your everyday job. They just get to have their high elite opinion of you and tell you what you should think. And I'm so sick of it. Me too. But let me take that a step further. I feel the same way about a lot of the people that I work with, and that's on both sides of the aisle. I do. And one of the things that shocked me when I became a member of Congress is how unbelievably stupid members of Congress are. Evidence of that. I have really strong evidence of that. We are $34 trillion in debt. Yeah. You have to be a stupid body of Congress to put the American people in $34 trillion in debt. That is clear evidence of an extremely low IQ level in Congress, right? That's how I feel. That's why I don't vote for any of their spending bills. I can't stand them. The omnibus bills, all of this stuff, they're ridiculous. Now, I want to fund the government. I would like to be able to fund a legitimate government, not a government that's weaponized the people. I would like to fund a government that actually does its job and serves the American people. Because let's be real, you're the customer. Your tax dollars pay the federal government. I would like to be able to vote for good bills, and I have voted for some of them. So here's where we stand right now. I'll give you a quick update before I wrap this up. We are voting on 12 appropriation bills. That's our job. That is literally what Congress is supposed to do by the Constitution. We've only passed 7. We have 5 more to pass. So the House passes some, and the Senate passes theirs. The Senate has only passed 3. Okay? Now, there is a government funding deadline coming. There's 2 deadlines now, one at the end of January and one in February. Now, the reason why there's 2 deadlines is because they've already kicked the can down the road. I didn't vote for that. That was a continuing resolution that was done back in November. But we're back up to the deadline again. Oh no, the government's going to shut down.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
I have no problem with that, by the way. So here we are, we're coming up on the deadline, 2 deadlines, where it's like part of the things run out of money and then the other part of the government runs out of the money. And we have 5 more appropriation bills to pass. So this is what's amazing. If you want to know how broken Congress is, I'm going to give you another example. We have a calendar system that is a system of failure. And if you ever, in your everyday job or when you were running a company, I'm sure that you planned your day and you had a weekly, monthly, and annual calendar that sets you up for success, right? So you can finish your projects on time, so that you can pay all your bills, so you can serve your customers, so you can get paid. That's how it works in the real world. Government doesn't work like that. No, we have a calendar system of failure. And it is literally set up so that we're all out on recess in all of August and half of September, but yet we're supposed to have the government funded by the end of September. How are we supposed to do our jobs when they send us home for 6 weeks leading up to that? It's a calendar system of failure. That's another piece of evidence that I can prove to you Congress is stupid. I know those are strong words, but this is the reality. So you're going to see in the news coming up where everybody's like, oh no, the government's going to shut down. Well, Social Security checks keep coming. If it shuts down, Social Security checks keep coming. I think that's very important. You paid into the system for a very long time. You deserve your money. And there's many other things that keep going when the government shuts down. But here's what's going to happen. We aren't going to pass our appropriation bills on time. We're not. And I think that's horrible. As a matter of fact, it's unacceptable to me. I'm constantly upset over it. But they're going to pass another continuing resolution. Now, I've already started pitching a fit, and I'll be pitching a bigger fit. I am. Because here's why. All of you and the rest of America worked really hard to give us the majority in 2022, a Republican-controlled majority. And we said to you constantly, we have the power of the purse. Remember that? Power of the purse. Where we can defund programs and we can stop all this Democrat communism happening in the federal government. But when you pass a continuing resolution that continues Nancy Pelosi's budget, we are not using the power of the purse. No. As a matter of fact, we're giving the Democrats everything they want.
Of course.
And it is unacceptable to me to vote for a continuing resolution filled with Nancy Pelosi's DEI, trans agenda, Green New Deal, overspending, putting the American people in more debt, government funding.
Ukraine.
But Ukraine too. That is what is coming. That is what is coming. So you're going to see that in the next month. You will see us do something, and we're working on it. I'm on Homeland Security. We will be impeaching Secretary Mayorkas. Those We'll be impeaching Secretary Mayorkas. And then, here's something fun I get to do on Monday. We're having a certain doctor come in to talk to our Dr. Fauci. So next week, here's the lineup. We're going to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress, start impeachment hearings on Secretary Mayorkas, and we're going to have a transcribed interview with Dr. Fauci.
Lock 'em all up.
And so I'm not happy with my COVID committee, though. They're still working on the origins of COVID. I think we figured that out. We pretty much figured that out.
They're stupid.
Came from a lab.
Stupidity.
Man-made.
Stupidity.
We got China. Yep. We know our tax dollars were involved. We know Dr. Fauci was involved. But here's what I think we need to know from the doctor. How did he make millions and millions of dollars with COVID vaccines? Right? That's one thing I want to know. And then later this month, I'm holding a hearing with Dr. Peter McCullough. I don't know if you follow him or not. I can't get my COVID committee to do it because, unfortunately, they think that's too, maybe, extreme. But I am really against the COVID vaccines. And I think we should be talking about it. But listen, no matter what's going on in Washington, and it's nothing really good. I didn't have really great things to tell you about.
But you're here.
Thank you. Here's what I'm very focused on this year is doing everything I can in my power as one member of Congress to hold the Democrats accountable. And I think that's extremely important. And then the other thing that I'm working on, and I'll be doing this with every ounce of my time, is I'm going to be campaigning all over the country to get President Trump